at least for us.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, not for everyone. And even talking about one of the cons, I believe the negativity one. Uh, how can, that's just a question, Bruno. How
Hmm.
can we handle? We can apply that, of course, reduce that on ourselves. But when
Hmm.
you're in a business, when you're in a company, you deal with a lot of people. How
Hmm.
can we deal with people that are doing negativity and trying to put negativity on you, and even put your own reputation in the work uh, down? Do you have any tips for that? I'm not facing anything like this in the last years, at least, thank God. But I've faced that in a very long time ago.
Yeah, I think that this is true, right? So, a negative person uh, ends up affecting everyone, and the way people kind of handle it is that at some point they will stop paying attention, right? They stop caring. They're just gonna say, "Yeah, that's you know that's old John, right? He's always complaining about everything, right?" So just kind of people just dismiss you, and I think that's an important thing. When you're trying to build our reputation, that's an important thing that we have to understand is that if you get to that level, that people are just dismissing you, people are just ignoring what you're saying, right? They're ignoring. There's the same idea of the boy that cried, "Oh, wolf!" Right? The boy keeps saying, "Wolf, wolf, wolf," and so everyone starts ignoring him, and that's exactly what happens with someone that's like this, always negative, is that people will they stop paying attention to you, right? They will stop listen to what you have to say. They will move away from you, right? And so and that's the thing you can do, right? In a company, you're not obligated to deal and be friends or work with everyone just because they're part of your company, right? And so what happens, that people will just stop paying attention to that person, and that's the best thing you can do is ignore, right? And then and once you ignore, then if you are that person that gets ignored, then your whole reputation goes, right, goes water down, right? Because no one's paying attention to you anymore. No one cares about what you're doing. No one cares about your opinion. No one cares about what you're saying. And we can see that. uh, um, I'm sure sometimes we even pass by this, right? But I'm sure you've seen those persons that are ignored in the office, for example, and maybe there's a conversation going on, and maybe this person is telling you something, they're telling you a story, or they're talking about something, and then people around them just change subjects, and that person just never finished what they had to say because everyone around them just ignore it, right? And so and it's kind of pitiful sometimes when you see that situation happening, and then the person trying to continue the story, trying to get back, and and so yeah, it's really bad, man. It's really bad when you are that person, right? And one of the best ways for you to prevent that is exactly taking care of the negativity, right? Because we don't actually see this as negativity, because we keep like correcting people. For example, we keep kind of slightly telling that they're wrong. So for example, the person is talking about, oh yeah, because I did that project, and I was thinking about doing the project in Kotlin because Kotlin is the best language for AI, right? And then the person says, oh no, you mean Python, right? Not Kotlin, right? See that person that keeps correcting what you said, right? And that's really annoying, because you're just trying, is the person just trying to show that they are right and you're wrong, right? And so yeah, because everyone says wrong things, everyone misspell a word, everyone confuses something, right? And you can be part of the conversation, in a much nicer way, right? So for example, you can, let's say someone is doing like this and they mistake and say Kotlin instead of Python, for example, right? And then you can just say later on, you can say, yeah, I'm also really interested in Python because Python is such a great language for AI. I mean, you don't have to correct the person, you don't have to say that they're wrong, right? You can just continue the conversation, and everyone is going to feel much better for that. Then you can say, but Bruno, does that mean that I have just to accept that things are wrong? No, it's just to understand that conversations are conversations, right? If you it's different than we have to do. Oh, yes, we have to do a specification here and have to be very formal, but that's usually not what we're doing, right? And so, you don't need to be that person that keeps correcting, keeps pointing the mistakes of others, especially in a group of people, right? It's very common that those kind of people, they will, when you're in a group of people, they'll point out your mistakes, they'll point out your flaws, right? They'll say things, you no one, oh yes, oh, long time that I don't see you, you look so much fatter, right? It's like, you look fat, or this kind of things, right? That's kind of the things that you have to do, that that many times you have to learn not to be like this, right?
Absolutely.
Let me add something. Some time ago happened to me. So I got in a trap, like a trap. Someone asked me, like, "Oh, is this possible to make this done like in this amount of time?" In a meeting that I was involved like 10 minutes before, and I just said, "No, we're gonna need a little more time." And then, boom, I was labeled as the negative person of the room. You know, so oh my god, do you know you get like, and then it's hard to get out of these things. So
Right.
uh, because it was not exactly my my point there, say to be the negative person, so the no person, and
Hmm.
how do you have any tip to get out of these kind of situations? Of course, after the meeting, because the meeting was happening like very fast. So how can we do that, like to get out of this kind of situation?
Yeah, one of the problems that we have with reputation, right, is that once you have a negative view of someone, uh, it's harder to change that view, right? I think some research were saying that if you do something good for a person, they take like a year to forget that that did something good for them. But if you do something bad for the person, it takes like 5 years for the person to forget, right? So so we are way more attuned, like, to the negative things, to the things that hurt us, to the things that we, for some reason, we did not like. And so yes, people will remember you more for the negative things that you did, but not necessarily for the mistakes, right? Mistakes are different than you doing something negative for me. And um, and so now, if you are labeled something, right, whatever it is, right, oh, you are the difficult person, or the negative person, or the person that says no, or the person that's, first of all, it could be interesting for you to learn from the people why they think that, right? So having a conversation with someone could be a good thing for you to understand. And and then a way to change that is to associate yourself with more positive things, right? And the positive things also, people get very used to positive things very fast too. So even if you next time, instead of you saying no, right, you ask some questions, right, or something like this, that might be enough for people to start changing your perspective about you. And so, one thing that I that sometimes is better, right, is that if you want to be a negative, if you want to say no, if you want to do like this, try to do more in private instead of in the group, right? So For example, someone says, "Hey, can you do this?"